You finished reading the test. But it's like what you said, like me and Josh, Brennan.
Brenda didn't take it?
He looked like he was like sick for a long time.
Oh yeah, he was sick. He was legitimately sick. All right, so we're gonna deal with the El Hopto rule today. El Hopto rule basically is you study rate of the rate. So if you have El Hopto rule says if there's a limits x approach to a number, it could be infinity, of f of x over g of x. If you get inconclusive situations, if it's an inconclusive situation, then instead of go to the actual function, you can go to the rate of the function. And you can look at a rate. It's also going to give you a conclusive result. So limit x approach c of f prime of x over g prime of x. Now realize this is not quotient rule. Just take the derivative of the numerator and take the derivative of the denominator. Now here's the things. How many indeterminate form are they in BC? There is a 0 over 0. There is a very important, you have to know this because all the time you had to deal with this. Second one is going to be infinity over infinity. The third one is going to be 0 times infinity. The fourth one is going to be 1 to the infinity, which is we did that one the other day when we got a value of Euler's. 5 is 0 to the 0. And 6 is infinity minus infinity. So those are all indeterminate form. It's indeterminate form.
So mostly all of them.
No, on AP exam you're only gonna see this.
Wasn't didn't you say like 0 to 0 is 1? Was that something? Am I thinking about the wrong thing?
It could possibly be 1, could be possibly something else.
I feel like we did that. But just like a guess by people, it's not actually.
Yeah, we did that.
What could infinity over infinity be besides 1?
Infinity, no, this is infinity minus infinity.
Number 2.
Number 2, infinity over infinity is not 1 because there was 2 type of infinity. There was multiple different type of infinity.
When you say type, like, if I say, okay, well, let's say it's an exponent, it's like e to the infinity.
We gotta get to that. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. If limit x approach 0, right? E to the 2x minus 1 over x, right? If I go to 0 in this case, now I'm going to talk about how AP exam wanted to. AP exam cannot say this 0 over 0, this is not allowed. You're not going to get points for doing that. What you're going to say is limits x approach to 0 of e to the 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. This is very dumb, but this is what the rubric they want. X approach 0 of x is equal to 0. Then you can say El Hopito. At least this is what they want on AP exam. So that is going to be El Hopito rule, and you had to write out like this. I'm just going to show you how do they want you to write out. So it'd be limits x approach 0 of 2e to the 2x over 1. Now, if I plug in 0, it's going to be 2e to the 0 over 1. So it's equal to 2. So the answer is equal to 2. Now, we're going to talk about how many different kind of infinity there are. And that's a very important abstract perspective for BC Calc because you want to know which kind of infinity is going to go faster. Which one has the faster speed. Okay, so for example, now we're going to talk about this. What happened if limit x approach infinity of natural log of x over x? Now, which one's faster, do you think? Natural log of x is going to go to infinity faster? Or they both go into infinity, by the way. But which one's going to go faster? X. You're right, because natural log of x is going to be like this, right? And the other one is going to be like this. This one's way faster than natural log of x, but they're still going to go to an infinity though. So that's why you study the rate, because you don't understand. So you say, hey, let's do the rate. I'm not going to do that stupid thing of limit x approach that. That's just for rubric for AP exam. Like limit x approach infinity of natural log of x equal to infinity. You should write that. I'm going to do it anyway. But the problem is you don't know which one's faster. So therefore you say, hey, we don't know which one's faster. We're going to study the rate then. Then rate is going to be 1 over x and 1. Limit x approach infinity. This one's obviously equal to 0 because the top one is way slower. So that's why it's going to eventually equal to 0. Does that make sense? Now on BC Calc, on the BC Calc, you have to be worried about, which one's going to go faster. Now, sometimes they show up like this. What's the limit x approach infinity of e to the negative infinity, e to the negative x? Now, the cool thing is about this one is actually approaching what? X squared.
Squared.
So let's just say if I want to write out a stupid thing, that's still going to be infinity. And limit x approaching negative infinity, there's the reason why I do negative infinity, because e to the negative negative is e to the positive, right? So that's equal to infinity.
Like, because I think the x squared cancel itself out, right? Is that how you say which one was faster?
No, x squared, you think about x squared.
2x.
X squared is going to be like this, right? And the e to the x is going to be like something like this. It's day down is going to be way faster.
Yeah. Like, if you do I think you have to do L-Hopper 2 times. So,
Yeah, you had to do it 2 times. You're right. So first, it's going to give you negative x. That's going to equal to 2x, negative e to the negative x. And then you'd reach negative infinity. You're going to get infinity over infinity. Still. And then you say, okay, well, let's study the rate of the rate of the rate. So that's 2. That's e to the negative x. Now it's going to be 2 to the infinity. That's equal to 0.
Then you have to write everything. Like all of them.
Yeah, not for computation, no. For stupid math, for FRQ, for multiple choice, no either. And multiple choice, they don't care. They just want to care about right answers, right? So for FRQ, yes. No, yeah, x approach negative infinity. Sometimes they even write like this. They say, hey, infinity, e to the negative x square root x. And then you say, well, is this indeterminate form? Well, this looks like this because 0, right, times infinity, which is 1 of indeterminate form. But then you have to change it to a fraction. So you change it to a fraction by just simple math. It could be 0. I'm not saying it's not.
What else could it be?
Could be something else. Really depends on what kind of L-Hopper rule they give it to you.
Can't treat infinity like
what makes a 0 number and infinity not one?
infinity is like a whole different concept.
Yeah, it's a different concept. There was a professor I forgot his name, but he teaches at Yale University. He used to teach at Yale. He's very good. He's also a math YouTuber now. He's phenomenal. He explained all kind of math. I think it's Winterberg. I think that's his name. He says that people should not teach calculus with the idea of infinity because infinity is not real. Like if it's real, my house go to your house, I can reach it, right? But it's infinity long. It doesn't matter how fast I'm driving. I can never get there. So why is that real? So he says he should teach. We should never teach kids calculus with the idea of infinity because that's not actually true. But anyway, so now this is going to become 1 over x e to the x. Of course, that's going to become 0 as limit x approach to infinity. And you're right, it's equal to 0. We already did that one yesterday with the E Euler's number. We did that one, right? We already did this one. I don't need to do this one over again, right?
Or go back up to the So that's x times e to the power.
Yeah, that's the square root of x. And
So
those
isn't
two.
that also infinity times?
Yeah, at this particular case, we're just changing from 0 to infinity, 0 times infinity to infinity over infinity. But it's still, you're just changing from one indeterminate form to the next indeterminate form. But now, except this indeterminate form, I can do L'Hopital rule. But prior one, I cannot do L'Hopital rule.
No, I'm like on the very last step. That's 1 over infinity.
Yeah, so it'll be 1 over infinity, which is 0.
Wait, I thought infinity.
Oh, because as you approach. Wait, what? Oh, yeah.
Can you treat it like that? Like infinity, 1 over infinity times infinity.
No, 1 over infinity times infinity. So infinity times infinity is just going to be extra large number.
It's in the denominator. Is that what you're asking?
Well, it's 1 over a really large number. 1 over 10, 1 over 100, 1 over 1,000, 1 over 10 million.
Infinity times infinity.
No, it's not.
That's not.
It's on the bottom. It's on the denominator.
It's only if it's what? Infinity divided by.
Yeah, infinity divided by infinity, it will be indeterminate form. This one is infinity divided by infinity. Technically.
Yeah.
So then you do L'Hopital rule. Anytime it's indeterminate, you do L'Hopital rule.
I think you gotta mix up. You thought it was
So infinity times infinity.
No, infinity times infinity is not.
We confused both just a little bit.
Yeah, let's screw up. Where's is a infinity minus infinity? Yes,
Same thing for all.
because infinity minus infinity, you don't know which infinity is larger. What?
Is it math?
Well, I like math. Like everything has like an answer. And there's like a way to do it, and then there's like one answer.
Oh no, you guys will enjoy this math because so much easier, a lot less work.
Well, yeah, but it's not like traditional. You know,
Like
Yeah, but all Calc 2 is gonna be based the same
One
way.
over infinity is. If you screw up,
Yeah.
like there's two divided by e to the negative x.
Hmm?
So then you plug if you plug in infinity, would it be 2?
Over infinity.
But wouldn't the e to negative x move it up?
No, but this is a negative infinity. So negative infinity times negative
Yeah,
becomes
and-
positive.
and-
Okay, so you guys already did that one already, so you know what to do. Natural log both sides, and then you take a derivative. So natural log of y equal to limit x approaches infinity of x times natural log of 1 plus 1 over x. Now, in order to make a fraction, I need to make ln of 1 plus 1 over x. 1 over x, limit x approach infinity with the natural log of y. I'm going to take a derivative of this. It's u prime over u. A lot of people get confused with that. So u prime is going to be negative 1 over x squared, right? And all over 1 over 1 plus 1 over x. And this part is going to be negative 1 over x squared if I take a derivative of that. So this part will cancel out nicely. And if you reach infinity here, it's going to be 1. So y is equal to e to the 1. We did that yesterday.
Yeah, so do you know why? Like, you might be like, oh, but
What do you mean you don't understand, Austin?
weird.
wait, what did you do with the L and Y? Oh,
This is u prime over u, right?
Yeah.
So this is 1 over u, and this is u prime.
How did they do this before they had
That's what David was asking. Like, they think that this is a recursive. The recursive,
Because they get the x.
it's not an actual proof.
You would do ln, or you would do. Because why does it work with ln but not with log?
Or log is base 10.
Right, but like what?
ln is log base e.
And why is e so good?
E is really special.
But
It's a very special number. It's one of the most special number in the world. It's more special than pi. You can agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. It is special.
Okay, so if I have log of x, is that the same thing as 3 log x?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could just do this with log, and then it would just be, it would work the same, but I guess.
Yeah, you have to have a change in base formula.
Okay. So is that probably,
Huh?
is that probably related in there?
You can do log, it's still gonna be the same way, just different base.
Did we ever learn how to do derivative?
Huh?
Did we ever learn how to do derivative?
Yeah, we did. We're just changing base. So let's just say derivative of log 5 of sine of x. We change to natural log of sine of x over natural log of 5. And then now take a derivative. Just take a derivative of this. It's gonna be y prime equal to 1 over natural log of 5 times derivative of natural log of sine of x, which is negative, which is gonna be cosine of x over sine of x, and that's gonna be 1 over natural log of 5 of tangent of x. And we did that because we can avoid it. There was actually a formula for it, but we can avoid just use changing base. It's much easier. Yes.
Are you still taking like
Yeah, it's okay. As long as you're trying, then yeah, your grade's probably gonna be end up at C. But nah, yeah, in the long run, if you keep on doing your homework. Now, in order to get a B and A, you had to prove it to me on the test or AP exam. So there's 2 routes. There's a lot of people gets B's and C's. Huh? Probably not that important. Oh, somebody's phone. It's not my phone. Nathan's phone. Hi, how are you? Yeah. You just tell your mom that the grade is not gonna change until like end of the quarter, and if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you will end up with a C, but you will end up to be lower because the test is, and also I didn't put an extra credit in there yet.
Oh,
And also homework credit.
Multiplying something by x.
you're not adding points to the test, even if we learn it after.
I will put points on it, but only if you truly understand it. And the only the maximum score I can put is 60. So it's very easy to earn a C. It's very hard to earn a B and A. So at minimum date is end up with a C. But if you prove to me that you can do well on the next test, I will worry about the next test because it's not worry about what happened in the past. You worry about now because the past is gone, and you can worry about now, and you don't need to worry about future. Just worry about I need to do the best I can on the following test. And if you do that every single day, it's like the idea is take 1 foot to step forward to the next step and keep on following the next step. Eventually progression will show up. Not gonna be right away. Yeah, parents is gonna be like, just say, hey, look, I have faith in myself. I'm under control. If you have problem, talk to me, teacher. You give me my cell phone number, I will answer it. You know my cell phone number is. So just don't call me. Says what is going on. What I don't believe is people should work for things for grades. The grades are insignificant. At the end of the day, end of the quarter, it's really easy for me to say, hey, Julissa has override grade of 80. If she shows a knowledge of 80, then I will give you 80. If she doesn't, then she doesn't have it. So don't worry about the grade. Worry about if you understand the material rather than anything else. The grade is significant. You have some good bad teacher before to give you an A, but did you learn anything in those classes? might not be true, right? In your Algebra 1 class, probably Jaleesa is a great student, we give you an A, and that's done. It's like, it's not even like,
No, it was that I understood most of it, and I did my work and completed it.
yeah. And that you need to do that from now on. Before you are iffy sometimes. And that's what it's caused that today. But never too late. The race is not over until the, what do they call it? Until the fat lady sing. Which is, that's an AP exam. And maybe you got a 5. Maybe you got a 4. Maybe you got a 3. Maybe, yeah. Well, maybe there's always a maybe to everything. So I have seen people got an F all the way through and then pass an AP exam. I also have seen everybody got an F all the way through and they got a 5 on AP exam. I have seen everybody got a F, actually got a 3. And I have seen everybody, some people got a C all the way through and got a 2. So it's depend how you finish. It's not gonna depend how you start. But you're on the right track. If you keep on doing that, what you're supposed to doing, you're on the right track. I'm gonna be a very good person to go with. You're gonna have to trust me on the grading system. Right, Kelly? Trust me on the grading system.
Please tell my dad that.
Oh yeah, no, I already got an email. I'm gonna cut.
Please, I'm telling him. He said he cares more about the grade than what I actually learned in this class, and I told him he's a dumbass. He got pissed at me.
I will tell him that he's a dumbass.
No, yeah, I had a huge argument with my dad for 2 hours straight, and he's like threatening to make me quit every single thing I have. Okay. Because I'm getting a bad grade.
Okay, I'll call him. I'll call him. We're gonna have a chat.
Please. I need it. He keeps bothering me about that. He's like, you have a bad grade. I was like, I think I know more calculus than AP environmental science. I have 100 in that class.
Yeah, the grade doesn't have to find the person. Oh, what's up?
Oh, I think we're supposed to do a PLC.
We were.
We do it every Wednesday.
Okay.
We haven't done it forever.
I'm at rational function, so I'm teaching them how to graph some harder graph, like 2 asymptotes, 3 asymptotes, vertical, horizontal. So they have to graph by hand.
Yeah, I think I'm testing on that Friday. That's pretty much the only thing that they can do is actually graph it by hand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm asking them to graph by hand because I'm gonna ask them, like, they'll have to graph all this. They have to find. They will have to graph something like this, something like this. We actually talked about this today.
Yeah, I think
We'll
graphing
talk
by
about
hand
this.
stuff is as like review. Every
Yeah.
so often, it's just like, hey, here's a rational function, graph it by hand.
That's okay. Whatever it is, it's not that important. But for me, like, I just want a student to be, because in calculus, in UCF, for example, UCF test question, not even on AP exam, not even on AP Calc. So UCF, the last time I helped somebody on UCF is they have to graph everything by scratch from. They had to graph everything by scratch. And sometimes UCF tests give you the derivative and second derivative. And they just want you to graph everything.
Yeah.
So, I know UCF does that. So I'm not going to go by what AP exam wants me to do, just because if a student that has AP exam, they don't know how to do what UCF can do, they still struggle at UCF.
Yeah, I think regardless, like if they can graph it by hand, they can probably do everything else.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the graphing part is like if they can do all that by themselves, then that's like a good like they probably know everything. You know, they have to know the whole, they have to know the limits, they have to know when it goes up and down. like pretty good. Like
It is. I think is you learn more by actually jumping through something.
yeah,
And the problem is the problem is not even that anything. It's the fear of graph. I don't know if you find it in your student. Is when you tell them graph something, they just rather do all the math, and they do not graph it. I don't know if it happened to you or not. Like
yeah.
like
No, I think I agree with that. They definitely are like, I don't know.
yeah, they just rather say I don't know because they think that's an easy way out. And I'm gonna prevent that happening. So you're gonna have to graph that on the test. You're gonna have to like you have to figure out how to graph. So for me, like I think it's very very.
Do you do a lot of questions where it's like, what would the top have to be in order to make a graph look like this? Like if you have f of x over g of x and you like give them g of x, you have questions where it's like, what would f of x have to be in order to get all of these criteria? Do you do stuff like that or no?
I don't think it's a, I don't think it's a that type of question is a hypothetical question. I think if this is a happen, I kind of avoid those questions. I think I'd rather kids knowing fundamental. So for example, today I asked them says, what does 1 over x graph, x squared graph look like? I didn't teach you how the graph look like. I didn't teach you anything. Can you tell me what it looked like? Half the people they told me this.
Okay.
Because they think this is some type of problem.
It's an interesting like conclusion.
Yeah, it is interesting.
I find it funny that they like
But
completely wrong,
but
but they get like some
this look like this though.
yeah. That's why it's like kind of weird how close they got to something else that's like important, but
But you see, so I told them so today, yesterday, last week, where I keep on stressing them, is I want you to try to think about imagine what would happen on the graph without me telling you. So they were so afraid to jotting down the information or write down what the graph will look like. The first day, last Friday, I tried it. I said, hey, graph me this. So the first day I tried it. And they were like, oh, yeah, there's some type of problem, some type of thing. I said, don't worry about it. Worry about how can you push to actually graph. So it's like staring contest. Silent for like 10 minutes. Come up with something. Nobody used decimal, nobody no come up with nothing. Come up with something to graph. They start coming out like finally one person raised their hand and said, I think the graph looks like this. I said, well, good start. You are doing an excellent job. Completely wrong, but you are doing better than everybody else.
and they plug in values.
No, they don't even try that. They just don't know. They just say, I don't know. They rather say, I don't know, than actually plug in the value. So I say, okay, well, let's do something.
I feel like I haven't had that yet. Of
So-
like kids sitting there for that long.
No, it was like staring contest. Like, if you think I'm gonna blink first, I'm not gonna blink. I'm gonna want you to do something about it. So some people did try a couple things, and then finally, like 15 minutes passed by. Somebody says, "Well, I get back to the top." I said, "Good start."
Can I have Derek Gomez to the front office, please?
I say it's a good start. I say this is a great start. What else you can do? Can I cross it out? Okay, cross it out. Everybody told me that this graph is something else.
Yeah.
Parabola or like 1 over x graph or whatever, right? And meanwhile, I say, okay, now, like this graph, that imagine your graph now, go see that. But what's the difference between this graph x plus 2 versus this? And they cannot see the difference. They cannot see the They say, what is the difference? No difference. It's not that difference.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing I haven't explained well yet. Is like there is a difference between the two.
Yeah, and I explained to them. I said, it's different.
Because I think I got him on board of like, okay, I can change this to this, and it's essentially just this now. But I don't know how much they're like fully like, oh, it's still different. Like we did have to like change it to make it different.
And that for them is like it's for them is they are afraid to imagine it.
Yeah.
Afraid to think about things. What would a graph look like? I think that was my biggest hurdle for the last week till this Wednesday. Is they finally today when I asked them when we execute graph, they start come up with this. I said this is excellent. Why is it excellent? Because at least you give me some hypothesis of what a graph look like. I don't think this is right, but I like where it's going. Because to get them to start to say like, and they start asking questions now after the thing. And they didn't understand that x squared plus 1 doesn't give him vertical asymptote.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, I don't think my kids would pick up on that. I think they would see x squared plus 1, and they just like, oh, there's an x in the bottom. There has to be a whole or vertical asymptote.
Yeah.
So that's like a good one that I'll have to like point at them and be like, hey, like.
So it is challenging. So today's homework question, they are gonna try to graph this question and follow all the steps. So this is the first question they want. So they will have to find x-intercept, y-intercept, vertical asymptote, horizontal asymptote, and they will have to graph everything. So this is the only question you have. Yeah, today. And just find me everything. I told them you have to find x-intercept, y-intercept, asymptotes, everything. Now, the other thing I did ask, here somebody asked me a great question. It says, so after that day it was 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and like, Mr. Ye, is it possible to have 2 holes? That's a wonderful question. Robert, can you create equations that have 2 holes?
Yeah.
And now you push the responsibility to them because they know what a 1 hole look like and why does it cost 1 hole. Now you create me an equation with 2 holes. Honestly, that's a best question because I teach for 12 years. Nobody ever asked me that there was 2 holes, and I had to think about it. I say, is it possible? And I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Like 2 holes in 1 spot.
2 holes in 1 function.
Okay, just 2 separate spots.
And that was a great question.
Yeah.
Right? That was a great question. You can have 2. I didn't know that. He asked me. I was thinking about because usually test questions are 1 hole.
Yeah, so you just never like go beyond that.
Yeah, I never go beyond that. I never asked them that. So but they come up with the question, which is says, look, Robert, you skipped 2 weeks of my class. And just by asking that single question, I think I'm going to give you a C for the first quarter. Because that's a great question.
Yeah.
I think we don't value the question as much as we value the answers. We value you answer way more than the question. I did say that's a great question.
How do you get the difference between class and placement?
Depends.
Because I think that's the main thing the kids are struggling with a little bit right now. Is like they can recognize that it should be a whole or vertical asymptote, but there's sometimes they're just like, I don't know.
Okay, the cancel factor is going to give you a whole. Now, the problem is if you have this.
Yeah, things like that.
This is going to be, I always told them the remnant, like the leftover, is going to be the asymptote. The canceling is just the whole, but how do you debate the whole or the, I say vertical asymptote.
I think that's
The biggest badass there is.
Yeah,
If you
okay.
have this, then you don't have a hole at that particular spot.
okay. That's essentially what I was getting to with
And
them.
yeah.
Because it was like, I think it was Monday. they actually started doing that, where they're like, oh, we have a hole at 6 and we have a vertical asymptote at 6. And I'm like, kind of, but no.
Yeah, so vertical asymptote is a badass.
Yeah,
The
and
whole is like a second grader. The
That's-
continuity.
that's what I did. I came up with just like, okay, we got a hierarchy. Vertical asymptotes, they're the top dogs, and then we'll have holes. And then we'll have zeros. I have that wrong. That way, if we have it on top at the end, well, we had a hole originally because we canceled it out, but if it's left over at the top, holes take priority.
So
So that might be like, they just need more time to like let that sit.
I'm gonna post a homework. You're gonna have one question or 2 questions. Yeah, but it's hard. Give me a second. We were talking about. So yeah, so the idea is we have to push kids a little bit more.
No, I think I'm gonna do like, after I do the test, whenever I do like a review or whatever this is, it'll probably just be like, here's a function, graph it. Because I feel like that's a very quick thing they can do that kind of summarizes all of rational functions
Yeah.
pretty quickly. What are you doing after rational functions?
Exponential. And I'm gonna after exponential, I'm gonna go to sequence and series. And then lastly, I will go to trig.
How long do you feel like exponentials and series?
Exponential, if I really want to do it, it's probably 1 week. Maybe it's, yeah. And maybe sequence and series, that's gonna be 1 week as well. So those are 2 weeks. So 3 weeks is plenty.
Do you feel like kids usually know that, or no?
You know what?
Like exponentials and series.
It's on pre-cal, right? It's on AP pre-cal, right?
It is on a. I'm saying, how do you feel like when you teach it, they usually remember it from algebra 2,
No.
like almost 0?
Exponential, no. Especially log.
Yeah, logs I understand because I don't know.
People see log, they turn off.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's weird and dumb and doesn't make sense.
It's 3 letters, and I only
Yeah.
can handle X and Y.
Yeah, I can only handle f of x. I don't know why there's 3 letters instead of just f.
And then you add another natural log, it's gonna be like, what's
Yeah.
the difference?
Yeah. Okay.
But,
But exponentials are still like, no.
Yeah. I will probably finish exponential before the break. And I'll probably start between sequence and series. And then I'll go to whole trig. Trig, I can spend very little time on it to be very proficient. But it's all other information I'm more concerned about. Trig I can also reteach it next year, so it's not a big problem. But I'm gonna go through the whole. I want a whole continuation of learning in one spot, which is in January, February, March.
I think that's. I have to look at what the next unit is. Because I think the next unit, if I remember correctly, Ollie did series first, and then exponentials. But I think I'm gonna do at least the unit circle.
I'm not gonna do unit circle before I leave, and there's a reason why. That's if I want to do unit circle, and unit circle doesn't take me long, so I'm like super good at teaching unit circle.
Yeah.
Like but usually I break up to 2 days. If you give me 2 days, I can teach like completely understanding. But unit circle, I will probably have to go through with you how to teach it. It's better than the other way. But yeah. For I will probably spend 2 days. But the thing is about unit circle is they have to learn how to use it right away.
Yeah.
Because so it's not worth it to do it before the break. Do it after the break, first 2 days, boom. And then
No,
start
I was
using it.
thinking like unit circle, and then we go into like trig stuff, and like do all that before the break. That way,
Before this break,
yeah. Or do you think that wouldn't be enough time?
I'd rather than knowing the last thing, the most closest thing they know, the better they are prepared for AP exam. So I'd rather them to for them know that to the next year.
Yeah, I was trying to do the opposite of like learn it now, and we're gonna like keep learning it, and like every single day. That way, it just like stays memorized forever.
Yeah, I will probably do it next year, but I would rather do exponential and sequence and series right now. But that's me. That's me because I don't think that much relevant to the AP exam. And teach the things that are more relevant to the AP exam toward the next year. Because you can knock out sequence and series, or you can knock out rational, especially you're ahead of me.
No, I think we're pretty much caught up.
Yeah, so
But I think there's just like some things you've probably done a little bit, other things that I've done.
right. So yeah, if you do that, yeah. Right now I'm gonna go by the book. So here's the book I have.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna do logarithms, and then whole next year is I'm gonna start with angles, right trigonometry functions, graphing sine and cosine. Just the unit circle is gonna be after 5.2, and unit circle, and then graphing, and we're gonna spend a lot of time on graphing, and then we're gonna spend some inverse trig, but we're gonna talk about identities to this part, the 6.2. So I have this much by next year, and it will cover everything between the first 4 weeks or 5 weeks.
So you're primarily just gonna wait on all that. That way it's fresh in their mind.
Yeah, because I want to be the last thing they learn is the trig, and then just take an exam. Now I probably will not go to vectors, matrix things, because last year when I taught pre-calc, I didn't get that far. Or the year before. I didn't get that far. I used to cover, oh yeah, you do have to teach that. You do have to teach direction angles, right?
What do you mean direction angles?
Polars.
Yeah, we do have polars.
Yeah, so I will probably finish polar at the end. And I have and then now to teach how to use calculator. That's gonna be a biggest part of you guys.
Yeah, I think I probably could do that. I really don't want to because I think the only other part for unit 1 is that's stat. I forget what it's called. The
Are you going home?
error analysis. Depends if it's sucks or not. I think error analysis. I forget what that's called. So like the thing where you use the calculator and then you see if the z-score or the that's it.
That's so stupid. I was helping my son and I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah. So I think the only last thing for unit 1 is residuals, but I'm just gonna skip that because I don't want to bother with calculators and getting all that figured out. I'd rather just like do all that at the end as like a good review of like, okay, we're gonna review everything, and we're gonna also review it while learning calculators.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll probably do that then. Just go into sequencing and stuff.
And hold on, I'm just trying to think about my stuff. But yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm just gonna go by the knowledge, whatever knowledge that you know.
Yeah.
The thing should take care of itself by then.
No, that's cool. I'll have to see.
I can even teach 4th quarter on calculator. That's gonna be like. Boom, boom, boom.
Really, the only thing I don't know is like the pacing that I'm taking things. I don't know if it's gonna be like, oh, we're approaching the AP exam, like kind of fast, and we have to like make sure we hit everything, or if it'll be like we hit everything and then we're sitting there for a month doing review. So that's really the only thing. I don't know if I'll do vectors or anything like that, or if I even want to. But do you usually teach other stuff before the AP exam that won't even be on it? Do you
I'll
teach?
teach you after. It's not on it. I'll teach you after.
Okay, so anything not on the AP exam, you wait till.
Oh shit!
Then you just get, yeah, but like, questions, like, okay, speech divided by, you're divided by zero.
What do you mean?
Applying for my master's.
You are?
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Math education or math?
We'll see what happens. Probably do one class.
You are fit for it though. You are smart. You are very good.
Yeah, but there's a lot that I don't know. There's a lot that I do not know well.
One thing is you have more asset than I do. First, you are smarter. Second, you're younger. And third, you should not be a teacher because you don't pay enough to survive. Unless you really enjoy teaching.
I think the pay is fine. The only thing I think at this point that would take me away from teaching would be like if I continue to teach algebra 1.
Oh no, that's not gonna happen.
Algebra 1's annoying me. Well, that's mainly just the kids, but I think it's also me. I'm
The homework is right here.
it's like a double affecting thing. I think I'm too lax for algebra 1 kids. I don't know how to get to it.
So let me close the homework first because they are weird. Huh?
Kids get so like aggressive to get their homework.
That's good, right?
I know. I feel like my kids would be like, no, don't post it. We'll take it another day.
Oh, if it was cosine though, it would have been.
Yeah, I'd rather than be. Can somebody help me post this on it?
No, I'm not. What's the derivative of sine? What's the derivative of tan? Minus over. No. Tan is. You're a 10, then you have to multiply. Yes.
That's okay, just post again.
It's fine.
No, just post.
I'm almost done with the test. I have like one question.
Okay, good.
Thank you. The one that I can't figure out though is the word problem.
Ashton, can you help her out?
Yeah, thank you, Marco.
Right either.
No problem.
Yeah. Got all my copies. Yo, Billy got a haircut?
Remember that?
You got a haircut, dude.
Oh, you just have to practice.
Wait.
No, you got there at like 6 or something. And we ended at 8.
Oh wait.
Have you ever had trouble?
Oh, sorry.
Finish that. Why you running over there? And everybody's been talking. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's not really doing it. No, the whole location they mentioned. The whole thing. Slowly being going.
No, no.
Why do you have this? What is this?
No, one.
Why don't you wear
Help me.
Dude, I'm getting a case of
It's like a white look like
That's such a stupid
You have a is it paid tutoring or will pay you or?
Oh, Tuesdays and Thursdays, yeah.
You a student don't come to tutoring?
Generally no. But I have one kid who probably coming, so I probably need to go. That kid is very far behind.
Oh,
He like came in late from Georgia, and then at some point earlier in the quarter, he went back to Georgia to like, do dental work or something.
Kelly, Kelly, can you help me post the thing?
But he missed like a whole week of school because he had to go back to Georgia, and then he came back for a little bit, failed the first test because he missed a week, and then he was out for like 2 weeks because he was sick. So like at this point he's like very far behind. But now he has basketball and I have to fit time in. Actually,
wow.
you can show me the
This is 1/2. Well, not 90.
No, Mark doesn't do it. It's his passion. No. He went to a pro. I am not playing. Good job.
Our school has no air.
Why would he give me Why would he give me Sorry, how do you how is it on? Julie, Kevin, the guy
No, you're hungry.
I mean, I'm thinking of like, I'm not really good at it. I'm working on
She wasn't there.
No, bro. God, no.
No, that's the
I'm not gonna be only one. Why am I not inside here?
No, I got it.
Your homework won't close, so I can't sleep. I always tell them. Oh.
Precisely one page. And the entire time was that.
Another gun. Yeah.
They're calling for you, so you.
Well, I got the I'm surprised. Like after the
He has a dog.
like he just but beginning of the year, he already thought I was gonna have to be a York fan. The shorts. I thought he was yeah. Well, yeah. He was like, on your gas.
That
He thinks you're gonna feel like, oh my God. And he not learned for the first time. He actually said like you're already beyond.
Did you swear to this? Did you swear to this?
Oh, when you have a camera.
Well, I did, but it's in another news. The negative outside. That's negative outside. What if it's like take opposite outside? You have outside, take it in. That's like a sham.
How do I just look up file again? Oh, right.
Wait, what's
No, Pythagorean identity.
you have
No, cosine squared x equals sine squared x.
if you're standing, you have to like.
I'm the green one. And then there's like shit. And I like it like
I'm not the only one who That's not.
Yeah, dude.
I can't.
Back to the illustrator. I'm going. Never mind. It's a negative sign.
They're not.
Wait, hold on. Seven is E, right? No, seven is E. No, seven is E. Yeah, seven is E.
Yeah, you guys, like, whenever you come in, I know you guys are all very,
Oh yeah.
No, not shut off.
No shoes off.
No,
What?
well,
You're not.
take off your shoes, because I mean, it's more comfortable to be not in your shoes, but like.
Hey, your shoes off then. Shoes off.
I don't wear my shoes in my house, but like, it's not like, it's not prohibited. I'm not saying like. But I don't wear shoes in my house. I don't wear shoes in my house. There's a little place where I go. Say like. No, there's just some people that. That's what I'm saying, and they're immigrants, or came from immigrant families. New York. Immigrants.
Facts. No, that's crazy. Everything's an immigrant. Everything's your ass. And she just did. Really?
Yeah, she called me Chinese.
Yeah, what you think when she heard the Chinese name?
Yeah, she called me nuts.
It was back to back too. What's her real name, Kelly? Wait, was it like an honest mistake or you?
Marco, rock off.
I'm telling you.
It's not happening. It's not happening. Oh, never mind.
I'm not.
That's question.
You were yanking, You'll never huh? Charlie? Another dude's name, bro. What the
Guess his name.
Post on you.
Right, goddamn.
My name's still, yeah.
What if
What do you do if I eat that?
I could beat it so much better.
Dude, that hurts. No, you're joking. No, wait, no, no.
No. Like,
Huh?
Oh, but like 7 steps.
No.
video of you walking out.
No. I did not. No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. No,
Together, you're.
no, tell. Wait, it didn't happen.
I heard you can talk like
No, no.
Wait, you guys didn't know there was X plus D?
No, it's X. We got X, but we kind of like thought it was X.
Oh my god.
No, D more.
Where we go?
You know what I mean?
Where we go?
I'm not even.
In you?
Oh, that makes yeah. I don't know. There was an improvement.
People into the U.S. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
No.
What do you mean? You're not fired. Fired.
Just 13 minutes.
No,
Didn't even know that was a possibility.
and then you solve for the grade. Sometimes I get shy to my peaks and someone knows.
You don't want to know.
Movable is the one that you exit out.
Have like
No, I understand why we had. Oh.
Wait, for 8? Are you leaving?
I wish you great adventures. Hey, Lars, how many of those questions do you got? Wow, wow, What? Stop believing everything here. It's not true. No.
Yeah, word on it.
Vaga, you're gonna help? Why do you all believe it? Our team sucks so bad, they got Walmart.
Charlie said science Olympiad, right?
Cosine, yeah, where, I mean, over, cosine,
I'm going to be negative.
Kevin, how strong is the math?
I don't know.
How strong is
You're asking the same damn question. I know.
in a matter of what? How strong of math? You can't break it up, right?
You have to add it to
Wait, for 9, did you get 8?
You get double. You know about everything over so much, right? I know.
Anthony, not easy.
Oh, yeah.
You got
You're allowed.
Wait,
I can't.
Oh.
It's like, and then I like,
Why did you write it? What?
Because he can expect people to work over that.
the guy didn't say it. I was like,
No, but why? But
Look, you have evidence of it?
yeah, I know.
Ah!
Oh, wait, no. Yeah, I think that. Yeah. Wait, and you're having a son.
We could play. We could play location.
So you.
So I know. So why is ranking? I'll never. Because if you do see where that was.
Yeah, but it's.
And then we do this with the
Why?
And
no, we do the
then you plug in the X. Try to make it.
I agree.
It's one.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
I can't. I was afraid of it. I know.
I did it.
He's trying to get X into 1 over cosine.
Yeah.
You don't even have 1 over cosine.
You get.
Yeah. So that means one over.
Then you gotta.
I did that.
People
ask me questions.
And then they show me.
How do you have word for fucking 3.1? 3.1.
You know, hey, me too.
No worries.
So did you get X dark?
No? Yeah. Actually?
It's so
Bye, Marco.
It's like
Oh my god, Mr. Ernst here.
Range.
You wouldn't be in here.
The behavior of society.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't
Yeah. Because that was like a. There's a thing you're talking about.
yeah. So this is also known as. Oh yeah. Yeah. So this is identity.
Especially in the year when you're down.
So do you remember this?
Wrong. I got you.
Oh, okay. I know, I went to 700 classes.
Charlie, I'm gonna.
You got what?
He has the, you know, that's the same.
You should have stick with
I know.
That's something that I don't know. There's always retake. Is good time to
He's gonna.
Sign of 0 is 0.
So it's right.
About the Trojan.
So you, if you have physical, so you'll get
Horses.
this.
I really don't know how to do that.
Yeah, go to the.
That's so alarming.
How would you get?
That's amazing. You can write it down.
You
You have pretty decent handwriting.
This is one, right? And then here.
I think I can got it.
Two. Yeah, the end of the. It's all right. Look, what are you doing?
What do I do with this one?
Look, what are you doing? That's my, like, the found out about this, right? Okay, and there's another C here. So you're talking.
If you don't look at it, it's not.
What's the cosine?
This equals 1, right? Why the x squared?
I'm allowed to do that.
Well, I think it's more. You wonder like big guy.
Yeah, we're not like, I identical.
Yeah, I know it does.
Well, I don't know if that means
I'm
it's
supposed to be the one who's I mean, why?
It might.
So I feel like it's kind of take a different
She's
perspective.
really going to hold it. I don't know.
She is literally.
Oh, wait.
I guess she is. Then I didn't know it was. You know.
That's a pretty good explanation.
Shit, what do you get? What do you get?
Now flying.
We haven't gotten.
What was one number times we're going to do?
One that was great. Well, you guys still do kind
Yeah.
of. I don't think I have
Am I allowed to get it? Like,
Yeah,
am I allowed to pick it up?
I got my first one. Oh, she was.
Listen, do you ever miss
No,
it?
he's my second one. Yeah.
Oh, I just forget that.
That was.
Oh.
Not mine.
Okay. Talking about you. You don't worry about a number, to worry about sign. Negative times negative times negative is equal to negative. This is negative, so this end up being total sum positive. That's gonna go up. The left side.
I don't know if that's wrong.
You guys,
It's just, I need to ask you, is this breaking?
Not here.
I think this all you.
Because they did this, I split it up different.
You can't take it further.
But you can't, okay, this is right, up to here, and up to here.
Oh,
then
you're
you can't do
right.
this Because you're multiplying, you're right.
Yeah, it's one minus cosine.
I just read it.
Should I call your dad?
Huh?
Should I call your dad?
Now, what do you want? What did he tell him?
Square.
What did he email him back? He said,
Not in the email.
Five.
He doesn't read email.
yeah.
I read.
He did, he read it. My dad said that. Alright.
Oh, Mr. J, December 14th.
Oh my god. We're done.
Yeah.
Look,
I don't, you could call him. I don't,
it's
I
five.
told him many times, but he just keeps saying that, I don't know, he just keeps saying he's stuck. You should drop out this. I spent a lot of people like have the same thing as me.
Where is it?
Okay, but that's because I've been bad on optimization.
Pushing in one.
You got a one shot.
The other tests that are actually like within it exam, I passed most. Like, I got 75 on the aerobics. I got like a 60 something on external test.
What that tells me is that
I'm not memorizing the test. though.
Steps.
Non-related.
It just makes sense. You draw it. Ask them.
I do do.
Oh, you have to do it.
No, but integrals is easy.
Yeah, 2 out.
Like I think this is gonna be my best one.
That's not application.
I didn't read
I
it.
did really long.
Okay.
Huh?
You have to negative 2.9.
Wait, but why are you calling spider?
Times 2.9.
See, you want me to play Corbin? I don't even want to play. I know. See, it's very much.
Not using this. This? So that's what we're.
0.1.
You broke that.
Cause, listen, coach.
On the left side, 3 is
Why do you want to go to Mr. J?
Oh, this is negative 10. Okay. Oh, yeah, I mean.
Mr. J.
Yes.
I got it.
Or negative.
just because I eat ups.
It's not good.
Doesn't mean you can kill them.
No.
Because I don't. So you come to the front.
Yeah.
Have you ever ate it? My dad said it.
He expects a lot of this.
No, I'm vegetarian.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I
My dad said he ate a dog and a cat. He said the dog tastes good, but the cat tastes stinky.
I think teams, juniors, and 1C.
literally bragging to us about how like good
On the random street, you just walk and you see like slaughtered dogs and you just eat it.
Like,
My dad was in the trenches, man. He had to steal foods from like buckets. Yes. Guess what? He said when he was a kid, there's a lot of people who beat each other up in the street. Yeah, my dad almost got beat up by a guy that's like, when he picked up a lot of gear that street. Big bucks in the hospital.
enjoy their reading packet, and then she
Is
literally.
your dad as big as you?
He's like my height.
You know, it's your
What is it?
Remember, if you put in all of them over, time.
True. I heard a lot about it. You guys all.
Bro, teachers are so annoying. Like, they're really annoying on AC. You have to, oh god, AC, you guys have to write your.
Actually, this is breaking math.
No, that's my AC teacher. She's not like an AC.
No, not all of it.
She's like, blah, blah, blah. And she makes me like do all this.
I kind of know that.
They should give you the breakdowns.
People laugh at me now.
I didn't say.
No, you don't. You laugh at me.
Have I ever laughed at you?
You know what's called opposite nowadays? They call them acoustic because they don't want to say autistic. It's too mean.
Oh, I still say
He's broken.
Yeah, I'm trying to mention specifically ill.
Kelly.
Yeah.
Tony, I laugh at him. I don't laugh at him. Okay.
But if I take the integral of 10,
Hey, good job.
Wow! I can't believe I
Oh, wow.
So I think that
oh,
Please.
He doesn't understand.
Why is that so tense? Exactly, dumbass. I mean, I didn't really.
he can swear that.
What else? Hey, you write
yes, there. Okay, so over this over.
So for that
For
one,
the
can you help me? What's it gonna be? You sound like Kevin.
Can you help me? Just that much.
Bro, we do. I'm a big fan of.
He doesn't know it.
You don't have a section. Oh, no.
Oh. You don't. It's just. What are you writing? It's dead. Look at it.
Okay.
What is it? What's the pronunciation?
So it's, you can swear.
That's the only one I don't know.
Oh, because
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
Yeah, I have it.
Did that that stupid. Is that did you just review it all?
He actually come up with it.
Well, now I want to know that.
Yeah, that's all.
Oh! It's something you meant.
I said that.
No.
Yes, I know. That's
What's the answer? No, I'm right. You get it though, right? Okay.
I'll call it.
Okay, so that's how I don't know how to do it with tape. I'm so confused.
I love trouble cooking. So you go backwards.
You did the derivative of secant squared x.
No idea.
I mean the integral of secant squared x. Yeah. So you did the integral of secant tan x. But I think x is below you.
That's secant squared. Okay,
What's the derivative?
What's the derivative? What do you define? The integral of secant tan x. If you get the integral of secant theta tan theta, what would you get? Yes! Oh my gosh, I did.
what?
So what's the answer?
So that to me, when you have
Wait, I have to break this up.
makes when you have
Secant theta tan theta, right? And the derivative of secant theta is what?
there's something that's going to go up, go down, go up, go down.
What's the derivative of secant?
Yeah, I finished. Go.
Secant theta tangent.
Yeah, so then what is that? That's the derivative of secant, right? That's what that is, right?
Yes.
This
This is that.
It's not.
Now this.
No, that's the integral. Yeah, that's not the answer. That's your
Yeah, I never said that.
What's the integral of secant theta?
Right? Point one away from two.
Exactly.
One, one.
Yes.
And one, one.
Yes.
I try to break this up like that. I'm not supposed to tell me.
Of course it is.
Secant x.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I don't have my old enough.
Did you guys do 13?
Dude, it's 2:30 already. I was trying to beat me. He said he did that. Oh, and my homework from yesterday, he said he did in 33 minutes.
Oh, I've been forgetting plus E with all of these.
It probably should be.
Yeah. I gotta go ask.
If I'm grading any of your guys' tests, I'm gonna get
So the speed should be 0. So that's.
I'm just gonna keep remembering to write plus E. Yeah, that's the only way that I remember plus E. Like, I remember.
I don't play. I play a couple.
Okay, I was remember plus E. What's the?
Oh.
Fingers crossed. Cotangent, it doesn't matter, but cotangent. I don't think it matters, but I think you're right. Make me want to what is it?
I mean, talking.
I don't know what. I know. I don't get little pieces and.
Because I make that mistake.
So -2 from the right side. So -2 is right.
Oh my god.
I just think it's
You get the purpose.
You can't even bother. It's all there. You did it here. And then you just plug it in to find where it's going. Literally just plug it. It's like pause it. And you plug in negative number two. Never speak again.
You're gonna plug in point one of rate on the alphabet. See what kind of sign I get. So what's the left side of -2? -2.1 here. And you see what happened to the side. All right, let's go to positive. Not going to negative.
That one guy.
Yeah, there's a whole. I'm writing these straight out of these. And I'm gonna write it down because Alvin is not. I have a picture.
I have a big. Another big.
I didn't know how
I think I just memorized it.
I don't know.